Welcome back to Over the Line Podcast, episode 25. I'm Brad, and I'll be your host. Here with me today are the classic hosts, John and Kyle. Boys, how we doing?
Not bad, not bad. Episode 25. Got no joke for you guys this week, but I mean, it's pretty high in there. Now we're hitting the double, the half end of the third of the 20. So
somebody cut him. Somebody
Jesus
make him
Christ,
stop
dude.
talking.
Jesus Christ, already.
And for those of you who are watching on video, you can see that we have a special guest here, my cousin Victor Brune. He's going to be our NBA guy. Victor, how we doing?
Doing good, man. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Glad to
first
have you.
podcast for him. So,
Sir, debut.
that's it. Podcasting debut. And you already sound better than John. So honestly, you're doing great.
There's a good green screen in the back too. It's wild.
Yeah, it's all fake.
Love it.
Allen Iverson. Love to see it.
Oh, fuck.
I actually had a jersey, an Allen Iverson jersey that you gave to me.
Yeah, man.
That was my
Remember
favorite
that?
jersey.
Yeah,
Goddamn.
classic.
Why do we have to grow?
You grew?
Yeah. Not width.
Fuck.
Just length.
Okay, fair enough.
Come on.
You are a lanky motherfucker after all.
All right. And so for those of you guys who are watching are listening audio, not video, those of you who are watching video, you'll see a timer in the right corner. Every 10 minutes since I lost the NFL challenge, I'll have to chug a beer. So Kyle's going to be in charge of telling me when I got to do that. And yeah, hopefully I don't puke.
Didn't you lose it last week?
I feel like you did, no?
Yeah, you're not sure, eh? Yeah. Yeah.
I just wasn't sure if we're stuck on episode 24 if you actually lost back-to-back weeks.
Well, I
guess
refuse to
it's
do another
back-to-back.
challenge. I refuse to do another challenge because I'm not losing 3 weeks in a row. That's just
Don't worry, UFC's coming up. We'll do one. We'll do one here.
Well, for UFC?
since you're the expert, we'll do it offline and we'll post it and same punishment.
We'll see.
Hate the favorites, kid.
Yeah, I know you guys are all gonna pick the favorites, and I'm gonna have the balls to pick somebody, and then I'm gonna lose. And fuck
No,
you
not.
guys.
Well, did you see last event? All the fucking underdogs were coming through.
Yeah.
True.
Like a majority of them, especially on the undercard, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, you guys didn't even hit one parlay.
I lost my first fight. First.
Yeah.
It was like early
the worst.
pre. Yeah.
Bro. At least then you can just make another one with all the remaining, same
Pretty
thing.
quick, yeah.
Just minus the first one.
No,
But if you get everything, you lose on the last one. That's a heartbreaker, man.
I legit lost the first one and the second one and won my third one. So there was no hope for me.
But at least if you make it to the end, you have a cash out like possibility.
Yeah.
So then if you're not feeling confident, at least you can get out then.
Punk's a cash out guy. He'll always ask me, yo, should I cash out like for hockey bets and shit? I'm like, you shouldn't ask me. I just say no every time. I'm like, just let it ride. Like, what do you got to lose? It's gambling.
Yeah.
You guys see the parlay that hit yesterday?
Oh,
In basketball?
100K or some shit?
$100K, $250. The guy bet.
Yeah.
It was Golden State versus Philly, and he just bet like a bunch of prop bets in the game.
Yeah.
Holy
Hit them
shit.
all eight.
It was
All
same
the
game
prop
parlay.
bets?
Yeah. Same game
Holy
parlay, bro.
shit.
Like rebounds, shit like that.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
Some of the same game parlays you're seeing are ridiculous. And one of the basketball players actually touched on it. I forget who it was.
Tobias Harris. Yeah.
Tobias Harris. He's like,
It's
bro,
like,
that's
it's better
insane.
than
He's like,
Bitcoin.
yeah, exactly. Bro,
It
that
could be.
inflation, dude, in one game. You sit down for 2 hours, you just made 100K. It was like 103K or some shit.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
crazy.
That's insane. I get amped up when I win fucking $80. Imagine this guy. Fuck.
When does that happen? Fuck.
I've been on a heater.
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah.
I've been on
John's
a heater.
man.
Since
I
the
like it.
Browns beat the Steelers, I've won a total of $800.
Not
Oh
bad.
god damn.
Damn.
Yeah,
He's
off
golden.
$75.
Kyle's lost a total of 800 since then. Fuck.
Yeah.
The fucking slots, dude. Like, I'm never doing slots on fucking Zoom again. Like,
Every
so
time you say
stupid.
that, every time we lose, you say that, and then you're in again next time. So I don't believe you at all.
Stop asking me, bro. That's
See,
the
I just gotta
problem.
wait till I owe you money, and then I'm like, God, come on, let's put it in.
You're like, bro, it's $100. Throw it in.
I'll never
All right,
forget
all right.
the time. Remember, Brad, when we were working, I was playing slots. I kept hitting a bonus round.
Yeah, while you're on the
What?
phone to a customer,
Yeah.
you're just like, yes, sir, yes, sir. He's looking at me. He's just like pointing at the screen. I'm looking like, fuck, John.
What an animal.
Bro.
He's in the right business.
Legit, man. It was wild.
It was that stupid cat game on Bet365. Cats in
Cat-
Vegas.
Cats in Vegas. Oh
Cats
my
in Vegas, the
god,
worst
bro, you
one.
love that one.
And every time I
Love it.
play it, I literally get nothing.
That got me a lot of
Fuck.
money, man.
Punk has luck on the slots though. Even when we were in Colombia, this guy had like 20 free spins with like a really low value. We're just like chilling in the hotel. He's like, bro, I just won $280 off my 20 free spins. I'm like, bro, I spent way more money on my account than you, especially at the time. Like we were ripping fucking UFC nonstop. It was every single weekend. And I'm like, I didn't even get 20 free spins. You know, they gave me like 10 or some shit. I'm like, get out of here, fuck. Unless Punk's like a closet gambler where he doesn't actually tell you how much he's gambling. It's
I
a
can
lot
see
more.
that.
I lose.
I can
but-
see John being like dead broke from gambling and never telling anybody.
No one
I can
knows.
see it.
Yeah,
I
you
can
don't
see
talk
it.
about the losses.
No.
No one talks about the loss.
But-
I lose. It's just I talk about my winnings, but I don't lose as much as like people. You probably think I put in hundreds. No, I put in 20 there. So
Bro,
I don't
Who wins
really-
on their free spins? I don't get it. Every time you get those free
Bro.
spins, you never win. You get like 3 cents back. You're like, oh shit.
And in Colombia, I couldn't deposit because they wouldn't allow me because of my IP.
Yeah.
So like I was amped for that, like.
And I would deposit, shit, let him play on. Yeah, I would deposit on my account. And you were ripping on my phone, and then your
Yeah.
account got credited free spins, but you were playing on my phone before, and then you won on your account. That's what
Yeah.
it was. That was so fucking ridiculous.
And we went on vacation on our vacation. I remember that.
Yeah, that's so ridiculous.
Wild. But enough talk
Alright.
with that.
Yeah, let's move into NBA. Let's get right into it. Big
So,
news, obviously, the Nets losing last night.
Bro, let me
Yeah,
ask you
man,
this.
didn't start off well.
Well,
Is
did you want them to win really? Like, who thought they were gonna win their first game? Like,
Against Cleveland, I thought they would.
yeah,
hands
yeah,
down.
okay, yeah.
But what Sexton had 42 points or something? He went off.
Yeah, he went
Yeah,
off.
But-
he's a beast.
But do you think that it's just 3 hard-headed motherfuckers and like playing at the same time where it could just get like too much? You know what I mean? Like, you think that would be the reason why they might have lost?
Yeah, I think it goes back to like Miami's big three with Bosh, Wade, LeBron. It just
Yeah.
took time to figure out. Like
yeah, that's it.
3 like stars that always were ball dominant, and now
Yeah.
they got to share it. They had glimpses of like just scary like offense, like they were just killing it.
Yeah,
But when it's crunch time, it's playoffs and all that, it's gonna be tricky for them because they're
Yeah, for sure.
big egos.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
they put
and
up
I feel like
135
they don't have-
points.
yeah. It was like double OT or some
Yeah.
shit, but like
Yeah.
they don't have that much depth. Like
They had a
bench, like
huge
playoffs.
loss.
That's what you need, man. You need depth, and
Well, they
don't
have
that.
Harris too that could fucking score, no? Like,
Yeah, he's just a shooter too, but like
but
depth wise, I mean, I feel like they're not there. And defensively, they're brutal. I mean, you pretty much take the over every game because their offense is insane. Their defense sucks, more or less, in my opinion. But yeah, but the three
Yeah,
of
they
them played
lost their-
well yesterday.
They lost their rim protector in Jared Allen.
Yeah.
And that was a big hit, I feel, for them.
yeah,
Well, the
So
Cavs
I
had
think
what, like
that's gonna
5
show.
big men?
Yeah, they got way too many right now. So
It's so
I think
crazy.
they're gonna get rid of Andre Drummond. His stock value's at like an all-time high right now. He's going like 15-15 every game. And he's
That's
usually injury prone, so he's healthy right now. They got enough big men. They should trade him for something nice.
trade him while he's hot. Makes sense.
So
Yeah,
I
hot
think
and
Toronto
healthy.
wants him. I think Toronto
Well,
wants
Toronto needs something, man. They fucking
Yeah.
they're brutal right now. Absolutely brutal.
him.
They need
it's
they missed
rough.
they missed their big man. That's what it is. They lost fucking Gasol and
And
you know,
Ibaka.
like, Ibaka. So
Ibaka.
it's like
Yeah, dude.
if they could get that, it would be decent. But I don't think they have it anymore.
Yeah, because it was sad. I read a stat like a couple games in, and Van Vliet had more rebounds than Aaron Baines.
Ugh,
So your point guard's getting more rebounds than your center. That's never
Yeah.
good.
And
no.
he's not Westbrook, who's everywhere either. So
Exactly.
that's the only one. That's the one guy that's acceptable for. Everyone else, you're like, what the
Yeah.
fuck's going on here?
Yeah, Van Vliet's not jumping out of like the sidelines to get rebounds. Yeah.
That's it. Pat those stats.
Yeah, that's it. But I don't know. With the Nets, I think like they could definitely be the best like big three if they all play right. If they all play together, in my
I think
opinion.
statistically, I don't know what you guys think, but statistically, I think this is the best big three ever.
It
I would
has to
think
be.
so.
It has to be, I would say, for sure. And I would, yeah, absolutely. Like
Trying
they're
to
just
think, yeah.
fucking superstars. Like James Harden had the least amount of points last night, and he had a 21-point triple double or some shit out of the three of them. And he had the
Yeah, that's a
least amount
bad
of points
game.
out of all three. Yeah, but him and Durant before Kyrie came back, they looked actually really good together. Oh,
That's something.
Okay, like my drink. is-
first beer.
I took a couple of sips, so I'll do an extra one at the end. In
You
the
fuck-
outro, I'll do an extra one because I'm smoking a cigar. I'm taking sips at the same time.
Fucking
That
apple
looks
juice.
fun.
Yeah.
There
I'll see you in
go.
10 minutes, kid.
But is it that clear that let's say the Nets are coming out the East? Like, is that guaranteed still? Or I mean, you still got teams like Embiid's having a crazy
Boston.
season so far. Celtics look great. So, is it clear cut?
I think so. I think they win the East. I think
Yeah.
we're basing it off one game so far. So
Yeah, true.
they need that time. I think Kyrie has to just figure out his role in this all, and I think they got to decide who's the main guy, because that was the whole issue with Miami. It was, is it Wade or LeBron? And I
Yeah.
think they just have to decide who it is. If it's KD or Harden, and I think they should go with KD.
That's
It's got to be KD.
Hands down.
But what's going to be more difficult? Is Harden going to be able to take that second player role? You know, and
He
did
knew
in
he was going to
Thunder.
get him. He knew he was going to get himself into it when he requested a trade and showed interest to go to the Nets. Like, you know, you're going to be playing with KD. So,
Yeah.
but KD's the best player on that team. He's got to be the guy.
Has to be.
Yeah, I mean, they had a glimpse of like playing with each other in OKC, so he knows
Yeah.
how he plays. I mean, KD was a bit whatever, like younger at that time. Now I feel like he's literally like role models for a lot of people. So like he changed his style of play and everything, but I think KD's definitely top 5, if not like top 3 player in the league. So
Top
Yeah,
two,
That's-
bro.
three.
top 2
Well, if you throw Giannis in there, I guess maybe. I don't know.
over the. I mean,
AD, you got LeBron, obviously. I like him as top 2, but
Yeah, I would give him 2
Okay.
after LeBron.
he's too good. But what I find it funny with Kyrie is I want to say he wanted out of Cleveland with LeBron because he wanted to be the guy.
Yeah.
And now he's like third
The
on the
third.
Nets, you know, like just like that. And it's
Yeah.
like,
Took a
fuck.
big fall.
Plus he has he has all this off court shit that people are, you know, talking about everything too. He's a big distraction. So people are like, fuck, maybe you move him, bring in some key role players, some depth. I mean, but they pretty much went all in, right? They have no future for the next couple of years. Like they just banked on winning in the next 2 years, essentially.
So Brooklyn does, man. They did it when they got KG and Paul Pierce and all them. So
that's
That's their
true.
that's
style.
how they do it. Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
it though. It makes for exciting basketball. Like super teams are all whatever, but now that there's just so many teams that are stacked like that, you're kind of just expecting it to be more common. So
I don't
you have
know.
a few.
I don't know what the what the stat is, but would that be like the one of the first few times like a first time coach wins the championship? I'm not sure what the
what
No,
was
that-
Steve Kerr? Did he win his first year or no?
No,
good
I
question.
think, didn't Nick Nurse do it? Or no, it was somebody like very recently.
because didn't they fire Dwayne Casey midseason?
No, that was he won Coach of the Year, and then
Oh, and then they fired him. Yeah.
which is
Fuck it. You know what? Nick Nurse might have been
Toronto's.
first.
Nick's
Yeah.
First,
third,
but-
Nurse, yeah,
to win for
third in a row to win first title as rookie head coach. Third in a row.
Yeah.
Third in a row. What the fuck? Where have I been?
We're here like, who was this? Like apparently there was 3 in a row. I don't know.
Who is
Oh, I think
Dwayne
Ty
Casey.
Lue.
Ty Lue?
Uh,
They win.
I felt like Ty Lue was there like a year.
yeah, so
He
Steve
came
Kerr.
in, I think, halfway. They had that like Blatch guy or something.
Yeah,
a
so it was
European
Steve
coach.
Kerr and Ty Lue were the other 2 guys. So
Okay.
Steve Kerr and then Ty Lue with the Cavs.
There you go.
Interesting.
That's wild.
Wow. I did not know that, but
Keep the streak going. I don't think Brooklyn's gonna win it though. I think the Eagles are gonna just take over during the finals.
Yeah, especially in like on that type of stage. Like now it's just like, you know, a little basketball here and there, and I mean there's not really any fans and shit. But now you're in the finals, like they're all just gonna try to fucking hold that ball and take over a game, and you know, and you can't. It's hard to really blame them because they've always been those guys for whatever teams and whatever level they've ever played at. They were always the guys like, give me the ball, I'll lead us to the win. But like to transition when there's three of them now, it's tough, and that's like a whole other level of leadership to make that transition to be like pass up the shot to the guy who is shooting better, who is he has a hot hand that night or whatever. So it's gonna be interesting.
You just have to look at the
It's all
opportunity.
role players, right?
Yeah.
The role players step up, and that's what makes it. Like last year for the Lakers, whenever KCP had a big game, Lakers won it.
Yeah.
And like you just need those extra guys. So, like you said, they lost a lot in those trades. Losing Karis LeVert, he was a big one.
He's a beast.
So
True.
you have Jeff Green, you have Brown, you got a couple guys, but I don't know if they could step it up like in the finals.
Only time could tell, I think. So,
Yeah.
but
But who are they playing in the finals? Is it are Lakers a lock, or what are we looking? Maybe Clippers can squeeze in this time around.
I'm going out on a limb here. I'm saying Clippers win it all this year.
Clippers.
oh fuck.
Hey, let's go.
Yeah.
PG looks good.
That's
Yeah.
that's the X factor, I think. I think he had a shit performance last year.
Yeah.
And he even said he's coming back with a vengeance this year. If you watched any Clippers game so far, he's just tearing it up. Like his three's back, he's dunking on people, like he's angry.
But can he do it under the big stage in the playoffs? That was a big thing, right?
He was nice with Indiana. I don't know
Yeah,
if
the
you guys
Pacers he
remember,
was
like,
clutch.
when he was
Yeah.
in the playoffs with Indiana. So I think he could do it. I think if like Kawhi just, plays more of a leadership role vocally and like talks him through it. Getting Ibaka, he's a great locker room guy.
Yeah.
What like
People
all the
love-
Raptors said. So I think he could kind of just like bring him down to earth, get him focused. So
Yeah, he's
That's-
playing with a couple
Well,
of
Clippers
champions
this
right
year,
now.
man.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I think they have
Well-
the defensive edge over the Lakers coming out the West.
I think they could have beat the Lakers last year if they would have just finished off Denver properly.
Denver was fucking crazy last year, man. That was
They
fun
just-
to
yeah.
watch.
Yeah,
Breaking
Jamal
people's
Murray,
hearts.
Jokic.
Love
Jamal Murray,
Jokic.
Canadian boy.
Love him. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Jokic is fun to watch.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know. Yeah, I was because I never really watched Denver last year, like throughout the regular season. But then, like when playoffs came around, obviously I'm gonna watch it. I just watch it. He could just get through anyone, get those points when you need them. And even Jamal Murray too. Like he could hit almost anything. Like he was so like clutch.
He
But
put
He's
himself
lethal.
in like that premier point guard status.
from that playoffs, yeah,
Yeah, just the playoffs.
yeah,
Well, the bubble changed so much, right? Like Paul George, he said the bubble got to him, and that's why
Yeah.
he kind of fell apart. And then you have guys like you said, Murray excelled in it, and like
yeah.
the
This
Phoenix
girl,
Suns,
that's why.
Pretty sure the Suns only lost one
Undefeated.
game the entire bubble,
Undefeated they went.
undefeated in the bubble, and
Yeah.
still couldn't crack the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like so, like teams just kind of handled it better, and some went off, and some kind of just dropped off. So
Yeah,
it
like
depends
Jimmy
about-
Butler, Miami, that they just took it and ran. And then
Yeah,
you have
Miami
like
was beast.
Toronto, who, Siakam, I don't know where he went.
yeah, nowhere to be
But-
found.
Even this year, he's not doing too good.
He needs
Is
fans.
anyone doing well on the Raptors?
Nobody consistently. Yeah, I guess Boucher is doing his thing.
Yeah, he's a
Montreal
Montreal.
kid.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah.
younger guy, so he's just grinding and trying to dominate. So
Yeah,
What do you guys think is like the reason for the Raptors not doing well this year?
the big men. I think losing Siakam, Ibaka and fucking Gasol, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like you said, like apparently, like he's good in the locker room. Like good chemistry with everyone. So that could be a big part of losing, right, or winning, right? So that's a big part of it. So maybe
Yeah,
losing
Gasol
them.
too. Gasol too. He was defensive player of the year. He's very vocal, strong basketball IQ. So he's telling you where to be and running plays.
Yeah.
I think another big factor, like I think it's a bunch of different things, but one of them is they don't have home court at all.
which is
Like,
huge for
they're in
them.
Florida, so they're like the one team out of the whole league that is
Always
on the road
road.
nonstop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Florida's a mess. Like, just like
Well, that's
Yeah.
true though. home games, you go home, you go to your own house, like it could change it. Here, you're literally on the road for how many games they're playing. So you're living in a hotel, or if they rented a house, it sucks. It's true. That's a huge factor. I didn't think of that.
And I was listening to another podcast, and somebody was saying because it was in Florida, it was just a bunch of Miami Heat fans. I don't think they have fans anymore, but at the beginning of the season they did, and the Miami Heat fans were just booing them, booing the Raptors. So you're at home and you're getting booed.
Yeah.
Like,
what the fuck?
And like, I don't know, have you guys ever been to a Raptors game in Toronto?
Oh fuck.
No,
pause.
I never been.
Pause that thought.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Just continue. Keep going.
I have not, but I really want to. Like, I've been to a Leafs game in Toronto. Obviously, I'm a big Leafs fan, so love the atmosphere. I could just imagine Brad's face. I could just imagine the atmosphere with the Raptors as well. So
Yeah, I've been to a bunch playoff games, regular season, and it's incredible, man. Like, even LeBron said it that one year. He's like, I've never been in anything like this. Yeah, Jurassic Park outside, going nuts. Inside, it was crazy.
Yeah.
I was there for that first year that they made it with DeMar and all them. It was Brooklyn versus Toronto. Game 7, we were down 1, and the place was so loud, like it was shaking. It was the craziest thing. I've never been part of something like that.
That's incredible. Yeah, so you take that.
You lose that. Yeah.
You lose that, and in the last couple of years, you've lost Kawhi, you've lost Ibaka, you lost Gasol, all really key guys in winning you that championship.
All your vets, like you just
like those are the guys that got you there essentially. Like Kyle Lowry obviously had a great run, but I've never found him to be a consistent player. I mean, that was the best he's ever played. First time he actually showed up, big time in the playoffs, and I feel like it's because there's a lot less pressure on him, and now those guys aren't there to take that off of him and the rest of the team, so they're all just like, what the fuck now? I don't think they bounce back this year. That's for sure.
I think if they do make the playoffs, they're like 7th, 8th seed.
Yeah, then they're just gonna get crushed.
Yeah, like they're not beating Philly, they're not beating Milwaukee, they're not beating Boston, Brooklyn, no chance.
Need a miracle for that.
It's crazy how like some teams just in professional sports in general could start a season knowing that there's no way that they win the championship.
It's true.
That's like the most terrible feeling there is.
And the thing is, like, the East used to be like, for a while, even like in hockey, it's like, it's not as competitive as the West and shit. Now the East is just scary.
It's switch sides here.
Like both sides are just equally stacked. So it's gonna be fucking wild. It's just like, I don't even know if I'm hoping the season completes, but with all these games being canceled, postponed, like that, like, do they bring back, like, kind of do maybe a hockey thing, like divisions with the bubble, or do they just go fucking back to Disney and just rip the bubble for the whole season? And obviously it's a lot more teams, so it's harder to do, but I don't know. It's a big
tough call, man. Yeah, because I was just reading something. Washington hasn't played in like 10 nights.
Yep.
They've missed the last 5 games. Memphis missed their last game, it got postponed, and the next 3 just got postponed as well. So you're getting these guys that like haven't played for like 10, 11 days, and then you got to get them back into it. But I don't know about the bubble. Like, they're doing the first half of the season, and then any games that get postponed, they go in the second half. So maybe the second half, they just decide, all right, we go bubble from here on out and into the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's tough too. Like, if they do it even at a point where it's like there's X amount of teams that are just mathematically eliminated and can't make the playoffs, then you just do kind of the bubble with the other guys and just kind of leave them behind. But then again, like, if you're one of those guys fighting, you're supposed to play one of these shit teams. Now they're out. Like, there's just so much going on. I thought the NBA would have handled it better based on them doing so much previously, like the season had just ended.
Yeah, they did such a good job last year, but I mean, I think it's so tough to go a whole season and ask these guys to like go away from their families or go away from like their city and stuff. But I mean, you guys do a bunch of sports betting too. It's really tough right now to like, I run a bunch of fantasy teams, and like half my guys don't play this year. So it's so tough to set your lineup. You're doing parlays, and then like 10 minutes before the game, you find out Jason Tatum's not playing, and you put money on Boston. You're like, oh shit. So it's messing up people's bets too.
it's
Yeah, bets
almost
have to get in
safer just to do
last
live.
minute.
Like that's it, dude. It's fucking ridiculous.
No more
right
like
now.
2 day, like even in the NHL, like for example, sometimes I would do 2 day parlays. So games
Yeah.
that I like today, games I like tomorrow. Can't do that no more because you can wake up the next day and half the roster's out with COVID.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
It's so wild. Like I mean, I've never done NBA fantasy. Like it's usually football. I've done a bunch of hockey as well, but NBA, like
I've always
must be
wanted to do
fucking-
one.
like that must be wild, you know. And like imagine
fun.
that, like your team, because since they play like for football, there was a lot of like when COVID and some games were postponed, they would push it to the Tuesday, and then the leagues would just adjust and count their points from the Tuesday. But it was like kind of a weekly thing, so it wasn't like games every night, right? They play one game Thursday, one game Monday, and the rest are Sunday essentially. So it's easier to manage. Basketball, you have games every single night. How the
Yeah.
fuck do you manage that shit?
Yeah, I got Westbrook in all 4 of my leagues, and Washington hasn't played the
Oh.
last 5
Yeah.
games, so I'm
Yeah.
dying over here, man. Like, it's
Yeah.
rough.
And how does
Well,
it work? Do you play head to head though?
Head to head, like there's different styles.
So if-
All my 4 leagues are head to head.
Well, so then what happens in that case? You just lose.
I just I don't have that guy playing, so I gotta hope all my other guys do well.
Yeah.
Because it's a numbers game, right? Like if you have 40 players that week that are playing, and then the other guy has 20, you're most likely gonna win because it's a quantity thing. Like who had more points total, who had more assists total, rebounds.
Yeah.
There's a couple like free throw percentage and all that, but the majority of these stats, they're quantity. So
Yeah, but so
That's
theoretically speaking, though, if the game gets postponed, that could technically have you in weeks where you play more games, where Westbrook would technically play like 7 games in a week that you're in the head-to-head match later on.
nobody knows what's happening with that, like with those postponed games. They said they're gonna do it in the second half, but
Okay.
they still haven't decided, like, because they didn't know how many they're gonna be and all that. So it's gonna be a shit show, bro.
Well, it'd be really good for you if they did it at the end of the season when you guys are going into
During
playoffs.
my playoffs.
Yeah, during the playoffs, and then Westbrook's playing like every
And he
second
just
night,
goes
or
off every
3
day.
nights in a row. Like,
Yeah,
He's the
getting
guy that
triple
can
doubles every
be-
night.
like
Yeah,
it could
he's
be
the guy who
huge.
can do that every night for fucking 4 games in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
might
what I was
work out.
wondering.
Who knows?
I was wondering, like NBA fantasy, because like I've never played it, like I said, but who are like the top, like who are the first, second, third overall picks in? Like, is it just based on purely because like is LeBron like a top 3 fantasy guy? Even though he's a top 3 guy in the league, I feel like that wouldn't transition based on where he gets his stats and shit like that.
Yeah,
So I
yeah, you're
figure it's
exactly
like our
right.
centers better to have and shit.
Who's the
depending on
best player
like,
and for?
like right
They
now is
usually
Embiid
go-
dominating?
If
He
you have
doesn't-
first pick,
he'll go first round. I had first pick in one league and I went Doncic. 'Cause
Smart
just-
man.
there's a lot of triple doubles.
MVP baby.
Yeah. Jokic is a huge pickup. Carl Anthony Towns, Anthony Davis, just like the guys that fill up multiple stat.
Yeah. Big
Those are the
men.
guys. Steph Curry.
Yeah.
LeBron will go first round for sure in like pretty much every league. But yeah, like if he goes first, it's because somebody's just like a LeBron fan.
Yeah.
That's why they took him.
Fair enough.
So
fair
you
enough.
got to take your feelings out of it and just do
yeah.
it properly.
Now we could touch on. I was gonna ask you, what do you think about Dallas's team? And like, obviously, Doncic. Next few years, I think he's gonna be MVP. Like, there's no doubt.
Or he's
like,
the
what do you-
favorite to win it right now.
I know,
Yeah, he
which is
is.
so
Yeah.
weird to me.
Yeah.
I can't believe he's favorite because they're not even in the playoffs right now.
Yeah,
They're
well,
9.
he has more triple doubles than MJ already, and he's what 22.
Sure, yeah. I mean, he's a killer. I got him in one of my fantasy leagues, and I'm happy about that. I think Dallas. I mean, Porzingis stays healthy. That's going to be huge for them. But I think they need like a couple more shooters. Because like I've watched a couple games where Doncic is passing the ball out and people are missing their shots, and you could tell by his body language that he's upset about that.
Yeah,
Because I think in that, like in the Euro leagues he played, everybody's a shooter in Europe. So you get a wide open shot, you're making it.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't think they have enough to like get too far just yet.
yeah, that's it. That's
Doncic
it with
can
him.
definitely be MVP very soon.
Yeah, he's been playing pro for what the last 3 years, 4
16.
years, or
He was
I think he
Yeah.
was 16 years old.
so. He's
Disgusting.
been playing with men for the last
Yeah.
whatever 6 years. So he's obviously above a lot of like his people around his age. But I really think he's
Yeah.
going to win. Like if he doesn't win this year, he'll win maybe like next year or the year after. He's just so dominant.
Yeah, Dallas has to be up in like the top 3 in the West, I think, for him to win it. Like the only time that the best team's player didn't win was when Westbrook won it, just because he averaged a triple double, which hadn't been done in like years.
Yeah.
But now it's been Giannis and 2 years back to back, just because Milwaukee's been dominating.
Till playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's the thing. Like a lot of people call him out for his lack of basketball skill. It's all athleticism.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a good jumper. He can't really like create his own shot that well. So.
But if he did, that would be insane.
Man, like I forget what team he was playing, but they were leaving him wide open for threes, and he was shooting bricks. So.
Fuck.
Here it is.
Another one.
Dude, I'm
These are
starting to
coming
get
fast.
pissed. I'm starting to get upset about this.
Yeah. But I think the Mavs can win it maybe in the next few years. I think Luka will win on the Mavs like a championship. With a guy like Mark Cuban as your owner, he's super passionate. He's really invested with the players. He loves to win. He's a huge competitor. Like I said, they just don't have like some real key guys to take those shots. Like Luka, anytime he has the ball or he's driving, he's drawing minimum 2 defenders. So he's so skilled that he makes the pass out to a wide open guy. They're just not draining those shots. So if you add a couple guys there, like a Danny Green or something like that, forget it. I think they can make a little push. The West is really tough right now, but I think they could get there in a few years, hopefully. I don't know if that's
really
just
would have
me
loved to
biased.
see Giannis go to Dallas. That would have been crazy.
That would have been insane.
They were
like
talking
that,
about it.
They could have just that move alone probably could have won them the West. Honestly, like they had that kind of potential.
Yeah,
like insane.
Well, I know. Well, they're definitely not going to be at the bottom because I know LeBron signed 2 more years, if I'm not wrong.
I think he has a couple left on his contract. Yeah,
and he's going where Bronny gets drafted. I don't know where Bronny's going to be.
Yeah.
The draft stock.
You gotta do it. Yeah, they gotta do it.
Yeah, and I know he even mentioned it. He's like, yeah, my kid, like Bronny's going to be drafted. So he kind of hinted that he's going where Bronny is, which would be insane. Like.
That would complete his career if he played on the same team as him.
I think that's what he's
and they
waiting
win
for.
it.
If they won it, holy shit!
Stop.
Is he even in college yet?
He committed to somewhere, no?
Yeah, I don't think. I don't think.
I think he's in his senior year now.
Yeah, I think so.
He's still pretty young.
Yeah, he's 6.
He'd probably have to do a one and done, and hope to get drafted. I think.
Well, he'll get drafted because LeBron James is a GM for any team he plays for. So
Yeah.
like
Any
but the
team
thing
who
is
wants
that
to get LeBron, they'll just fucking draft Bronny and be
Here,
like,
hold
"Hey,
on.
LeBron, you're coming, right? You're a free
pretty much.
agent."
like will LeBron still be LeBron by the time that he gets there? Because
2 years, I think
he's
so.
still doing really good, but there's gonna have to be that that decline, right?
He spends $1 million on his body every year. I think he'll be
Yeah,
fine.
it's working.
It's
Well,
'cause-
even Conor McGregor in UFC
Yeah.
said that he was studying LeBron James and saw that he spends that much money on his body, so he started investing that much in his body, and like the results they're just retarded.
Tom Brady too.
yeah.
Well, that's your money maker. That's literally your money maker. That's your machine. It's your
That's your
body.
job,
that's,
bro.
that's how you make money on your body. And imagine all the people like just lower class people who do like hard labor, and they work with their body, but they spend $0 on it.
Yeah, the only
Like,
thing
no-
they spend is the food, the fast food that's going in it.
Yeah. So like imagine at the end of their career, like
Wow.
imagine if like a NBA player didn't take care of their body, like how bad, like how short their career would be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's a
Like,
must.
So
running backs in football not that long ago, you're in the 4 or 5 years, you're like all fucked up. You're like, yeah, I need out. Like,
Yeah, you're finished.
yeah, Bronny's 16. I just checked it up. And I just read that when he was 12, he was offered basketball scholarships from colleges.
Well, obviously
They
but
tried to
obviously,
fucking
right?
snatch him
Yeah.
before.
But that, for me,
They
that
just
just
want the
sounds
genetics.
stupid, though. For me, that just sounds stupid because I would never do that because obviously his father's way too educated, and the way that he like signs 1-year contracts or like whatever, that he's not gonna let his son commit to a college now.
yeah,
He'll
yeah.
never do
Yeah.
that. Like,
They tried. It was Duke and Kentucky offered too.
Look, he's gonna play on one of those
Hey,
teams though.
there you
He's
go.
gonna end up. He's gonna end up going to one of those elite basketball colleges like that.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with
Yeah.
when you sign him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So 2 more years. He should be in NBA. I mean, with the training and everything from LeBron, I think he'll be fine. But yeah, I think LeBron legit has 2 more years with his contract. That would be insane to see.
That would be nice. That would be fun.
Yeah, just enjoyable, right? Like just for
Yeah.
the fans. Like
That's why I think LeBron wants to win, like with the Lakers, at least one more in the next 2 years. Because then he's already like he's solidified, right? But you get that other championship, and then you can easily just be like, okay, my last year, okay, Bronny's on the worst team in the league. I don't give a fuck. I'll go with them. Like, I don't care.
Yeah,
We'll
wherever
lose.
LeBron goes, they're a contender.
Dallas.
That's it. You know, like, hey, maybe they'll pick up Bronny if they're smart,
Yeah.
and they'll have him playing with Luca. Who knows? That shit would be
Jeez.
wild.
but you technically in the NFL you have to get drafted. Like what happens if you don't get drafted? Like just
what?
for conversation's sake. Like what happens if you don't get drafted? How do you can still get signed later after
G
the
League,
draft year
no?
is done?
In
Like,
NBA,
you can still you can
NBA?
still get signed.
yeah,
NBA or NFL?
NBA. It's like if you don't
Yeah,
get yeah.
There's
Look
a
at
couple
the-
undrafted guys. Yeah.
Yeah,
Leandro, whatever, one of the Ball brothers, a shittier one. He plays in G League or whatever, but he wasn't drafted.
Yeah, Van Vliet wasn't drafted.
Van Vliet
Yeah.
wasn't drafted, true.
And then, you make your way through the G League. You kind of go up and down, and then you just take advantage of that opportunity when
Yeah,
you get
but-
in the NBA.
Is there a way, like let's just say theoretically speaking, is there a way for you to like hack the draft, get drafted, not play for that team, and then just go wherever you want afterwards? Like is that actually a possibility?
I think if you don't report, but then that gives you
Because
a
like
really
before a
bad
team
rep off
drafts
the rip.
you, they call you, right? And they ask you like, we're gonna pick you, are you gonna sign? Isn't that like
I don't think they asked, are you going to sign? I think
Some people look pretty surprised. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
I'm disappointed when you get drafted by the Knicks.
Well, every time you get drafted, if you're like a high prospect player and you get drafted, it's not gonna be from a contending team. Like that never fucking happens.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like so. But I don't know. I was just wondering if there's a way to hack it so like maybe like mini LeBron will go somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like wherever that he wants, kind of
I'm
thing.
telling you, well, like, yeah, he'll go wherever his son goes, in my opinion.
Like how long is the entry level contract in NBA?
I think there's different ones depending where you're drafted. Oh no, the amounts are vary depending where you're drafted. But I think your rookie contract might actually be longer or used to be because I know with Gilbert Arenas or whatever, he fucked the system completely and they had to change the rules because of him. So depending where he was drafted, you can sign a max deal earlier if you were further down the line drafted. And the only reason he dropped so far in the draft was for some off-court issues. So guys that were drafted ahead of him were stuck in the rookie contracts, and he had already got out of his and signed a massive deal for like 60 million and then got out of it and stopped playing. Essentially, it was all guaranteed in the NBA. So
All right, that's enough fucking basketball talk for us today. But let's talk about the UFC big fight coming up. What
Do you
guys
know
think?
which UFC it is? Do you know the numbers?
252?
No.
oh my god.
57?
257.
57. Close.
Uh,
Yeah.
252 with confidence.
You got to shoot your shot, right?
Oh fuck.
exactly.
I love it. I love it. I
257.
personally cannot wait. I just want to spend the night drinking beers, gambling, watching that card. It looks amazing. Before we do
Oh,
touch
bro.
that card, though, let's just touch on the Holloway performance. Holloway versus Cater or Qatar, whatever you want to call him.
Or
Absolutely sick. In the podcast, I said that I would choose that guy just because of the money.
Yeah.
But like Kyle likes to say, the bookmakers, they always know.
They know what's
They
up, bro.
always know.
They know what's up.
bookmakers know a lot, bro. Like it's insane.
It's all numbers, right? That's how I like to think of it. It all breaks down to numbers, right? They know like how many times this ranked fighter faced that ranked fighter, what kind of fight it was, what are the percentages. Like it breaks down to a science that like the
Yeah.
normal average guy betting can't even compete.
And it must have been a perfect fight for books, you know, for book managers and shit. Because Holloway, couple of losses. Cater looks fucking great. Dude's on a streak. Looks probably the best he's looked in ever in the UFC. You know, like he looked fucking amazing until that fight. So you're like, okay, like, you know, like maybe is this Holloway kind of on the downfall, which happens to a lot of UFC fighters. But so those storylines were going out. Plus, you see this guy at plus 140, like I'll get some cash in my pocket. You know what? And you start buying into that shit. And Holloway comes in and absolutely dominates.
He did what
Eyebrows.
Khabib does. He did what Khabib does with people on the floor, tires them out, but he did it with only his
Boxing.
fists.
Yep.
Like That's unheard of. The guy was a zombie in the ring. That guy looked like he had just went 3 rounds with Khabib on the floor. Like he was done.
Well, I wanted to
Holloway
see.
broke 8 records for
Yeah.
like strikes and numbers.
Over 700
Crazy.
strikes like landed or something.
Significant
Yeah.
strikes, bro. Not just strikes, like meaningful shit.
And the
that
previous-
doesn't happen, man.
The previous record was a fight that took place majority 5 rounds on the floor. So it was strikes, you know, the guy's down, he's got his hand on his head, and you're just pounding him.
dropping.
You know, you're not throwing combinations, kicks, elbows. You're just throwing that one punch in that one position for the whole round.
How
I mean-
fast was he though? Those
At the
hands
end,
are so fast.
He was looking away at the end and like throwing jabs and
Dude,
still
yeah.
connecting.
When
Yo, he
he,
almost got clipped though doing that shit, eh?
Yeah,
Dude,
that would have
he
been fucking
hit-
hilarious.
Look,
I would have loved
That
to
would have
see
been
that.
so bad.
he was
I
looking
loved it.
away, screaming at the commentators, dodged 3 shots, and then turned and like quickly just hit him right in the middle of his
Yeah.
face. Like not like over here, directly in the middle of his face. Dead on, bro. It's
He looked
disgusting.
good.
Disgusting.
I wanna see. I'm sure they release it, but how many?
Fuck off, man.
How many beers is he gonna be?
All I'm
drinking?
gonna say is, did you see in a Conor McGregor interview, Max Holloway
Skateboarding.
skates by on a skateboard? This guy's living
Yeah.
the life after that win, bro.
Did
He's
you-
just chilling.
It's from Hawaii, bro. This guy has no
Did you-
stress.
Did you hear fucking McGregor's laugh?
Yeah,
Was
yeah.
that Holloway?
And did you hear what he
picked up
said?
Skateboarding.
Yeah, and did you hear what he said? What a performance! Me and
Yeah.
Max, we're gonna run it back.
Yeah.
That's the mentality that McGregor has. He
This
sees
guy's gonna have
somebody
to
that
drop.
he sees
No,
somebody
like,
that does
quite a
something
bit.
crazy, and McGregor's like, "That's the guy I want to step into the ring with next." Like
Yeah.
that confidence is just why I love McGregor so much.
Like, imagine having Holloway 3rd round knockout or 3rd round finish overall, 4th round, 5th round, and fucking Cater just wouldn't die. Like, how frustrating is that as a bettor? You're like, 3rd round. I'm like, it could have been called in the 3rd easily.
I
Easily
made
could have
one
been
bet.
called.
I made one bet on that card. Max Holloway in the 4th round. If you
Could have been
rewatch,
called.
if you rewatch that 4th round, he was done.
Yeah.
It was done. But I still wouldn't argue the fact that it should have been called.
No, it's like the Gaethje Ferguson thing, right?
Those are 2 veterans. Those are 2 like those guys are fighters. Those guys are fucking older fighters too. They're not 18. They know you know, it's not like they're getting out of control trying to preserve their career. And he was still there and he was still throwing strikes. And that's
Yeah,
why I
he was still
love
swinging.
Yeah, man.
that's why I love when I see Herb Dean in a fight, because I know the fight's gonna take its actual course. The fight's gonna
Herb,
go
yeah,
into the
that's the
fights
best.
not allowed to go. So I was
He's
so
the
happy
best.
but for a better, I'm not happy to see him in that sense because you know somebody else may have called it, but at the same time, just wow, just great.
Herb is the goat, bro.
He really is. But the moment we all been waiting for, UFC, not 252, 257. McGregor. How-
267?
What are you expecting in that fight? He says he's gonna knock him out within the first 60 seconds.
there's
Fuck.
there's something that you have to consider right off the rip, I think. What do you know about Conor McGregor in the last 2 years? Maybe
Not much.
not much. He lost to Khabib, world-class fighter, and he beat Donald Cerrone, a person who's a loser. He's been a loser in the UFC for the last like a year, 2 years. Like he just loses now. He's a brawler. They love him. He's cheap as well too, because that's why Dana always signs him, because he's a
Yeah.
cheap fighter and he's an entertaining fighter. So that's a whole different class of fighter. So when you see Conor McGregor beat a guy like that, that doesn't tell you anything about Conor McGregor. But there's one thing that there is actually one thing I can tell you. He beat him in the first round in the first like fucking 60 seconds. And Donald
Yeah.
Cerrone is known to have a chin. So
Yeah.
there's that too. But honestly, I think that we don't know what Conor we're getting.
He's saying he's the best he's ever felt.
Yeah.
He looks the best he ever looked. Fuck, I wish I had a body like
But-
that. Do you see this guy? Holy
Dude,
crap.
he looks amazing.
Oh
But I
my
actually watched an
God.
interview that took place today. McGregor's like, he's like, everyone's talking about, oh, how much better Poirier's gotten, you know, how much he's improved over the years, you know, since their last fight. He's like, no one talks about me. And he's like, that's fine. He's like, I truly feel the best I ever have. He's like, no one heard about me and knew what I was doing. He's like, I was in Portugal during the entire lockdown in a gym, living pretty much in the gym, only training. And he's like, I've never hit that next level as quickly as I transitioned then during this entire process. So he's like, I haven't been broadcasting, whatever. He's like, I say to myself, he's like, and haven't stopped training. He's like, but no one's talking about it because no one knows what I've been doing.
Yeah, but he fell.
Just to find that out, it's like,
Conor McGregor
shit.
fell.
He knew he had to go back to
Conor
fucking
McGregor
work.
was going up like this, and he was a gym rat. Then he
Yep.
got paid 100 million for fighting a boxer,
Yep.
and he went down. He
I
got
think he's back. He's
How
fully
many
back
lawsuits?
Now, baby.
How many lawsuits did he get into? Every single
Yeah.
day, I was throwing on Twitter and I was seeing Conor
There's
McGregor
another one.
flashing this on a boat, screaming at these people, punching a guy in a bar. Like it was endless because he had hit that level that he thought that he was untouchable. And if you see him in the interview in the press conference, he says, "I don't give a fuck about money." But that's not who Conor McGregor was 2 years ago. It was all about money. And I was like, I don't care about money. I don't care about this. I don't care about that. All I care about is highlights. And I want to go out there and perform and be a legend forever. So just to hear him say that, you know that we're going to get like a crazy Conor McGregor.
And like how he is now, you know, mentally and everything, I feel like it's similar to when he won that fight. Remember in the octagon, one of his very first fights, I think it was his first. He grabbed the mic, he's like, Dana, 60 G's, baby. Like
baby.
that was the excitement, dude. And that was about the fighting and everything. And he was super happy, you know. And I think mentally that's where he's gonna be at. He's like, I don't need any more money. He's like, I'm the happiest I've ever been, best I've ever looked, best I've ever felt. I think he fucks him up in 2 rounds, bro. Like,
I honestly say it's a one and done, first round done, because Poirier makes his money on having a chin, getting in the pocket, taking shots. But the thing about when you fight a guy like Conor McGregor is that he has the left hand of death. You make
can't
one
take those
mistake
shots.
and you get hit with his accuracy, you're done. And you know, it's just Dustin Poirier is not that fighter. He's not that Conor McGregor fighter. Like, I'm sorry, he's just not that good. He doesn't match up to him. And it's gonna be 1 round and it's gonna be done. And if you look at the odds, I bet you that the first round is the least, like the worst odds you'll get is within the first rounds.
yeah, plus 160 in the first round, plus 375 in the second.
Yeah, and look, he's coming back to fight UFC. Okay, people who are rich, they look to get out of that game because it's 4-ounce gloves and you take damage. It's not like boxing. UFC is short-lived. People like to make their money, but they don't make a lot of money. But so look at this guy. He's rich as fuck, and he still wants to go into the octagon and fight. It's all about passion. It has nothing to do about money, and that's what scares me. If I was Dustin Poirier,
That's the last thing you
what
want
would
to
be
know as
scared- that-
Poirier.
This guy doesn't care about money. He doesn't care about dying in the ring. Like he literally has everything that I would want and retire. He has everything. Yet he still wants to step into the ring with 4-ounce gloves and fight to the death.
He's still hungry with another baby on the way in the summer too. Like he's still, you know, have that family's growing. Like he's still got so many other responsibilities and he's still doing this shit. So it's gonna be
last
crazy.
person on the planet I want to be is Dustin Poirier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guaranteed. That's guaranteed.
Absolutely.
Well,
and I think
well,
he's
let's
letting
see
his
how
guard
much he's
down a
making.
bit too.
Let's see how much he's making though.
Yeah. Well, bro, I'll let
Then
McGregor
we'll
knock
see
me
if
out
I
in
want to be
60
him or not.
seconds. Fuck. I let him
Dude,
knock
all
me
I gotta
out.
do is go into a ring and get knocked out by McGregor in 90 seconds.
Yeah, he's not
and
Mike Tyson. No, it's good.
Yeah.
So you got
pretend to be
first
knocked out.
round. John, what do you think? What round? And who? In case you're not on the McGregor train, which is very possible.
No,
No way.
I'm on McGregor train, but I'm thinking third round McGregor knockout.
Third round plus 900.
No way. There's just no way.
Third round.
If it goes to the
Alright.
third round, it goes to the 5th round. Done deal. Because
'Cause
McGregor
if he's not dead by then, he's just not gonna die.
McGregor learned in the Diaz fight, Diaz 2. In the first Diaz, he exerted all his energy, hit him with his hardest shots,
Different
and
man
ended up suffering. In
Yeah.
the Diaz 2, what did he do? He did the same exact thing, but he ran from close pocket encounters and he saved and conserved his energy. And he went 5 rounds with a 5-round fighter, and he knows where his downfall is in the sense of like late rounds. So if he gets tired, he's going to start conserving. So if it goes 3 rounds, it goes 5 rounds. That's
Different man now. He probably
Yeah, he
worked on the
talked a
stamina.
lot about his conditioning.
Yeah.
He
Well,
did.
that first
He said
Diaz
he's been
fight.
working on that.
Yeah, the first Diaz fight. That was the first time he fought that heavy, no? Like, and he kind of rushed into it a bit.
well.
I think.
Did you
So
ever?
I don't think he was where he was supposed to be.
Do you know what
for that
Diaz
fight.
does? Diaz, he does triathlons.
Yeah.
He bikes across the country. Like I was watching his vlog because he has like a vlog series on YouTube, and this guy, he literally does these crazy things that you wouldn't even think of doing, just cause. Just cause I'm gonna bike
Yeah.
across the world, I'm gonna swim, I'm gonna do this. Like it's fucking insane. And that's where he gets his crazy conditioning from. And McGregor lost the first fight, but he learned. So I think that's one of the things that he took away from that fight was that you
Yeah.
need to get your conditioning up in the UFC if you're gonna win, like long term.
Agreed.
What-
Victor, what do you got?
Yeah.
Say second round, McGregor.
Second round plus 375.
Yeah, I think with Poirier, just knowing you already have that loss against him, that's probably gonna come in to like the mental part of it.
Yeah, I would say
Going
for
into
sure.
it, I think he's gonna want to beat him so bad, and he's gonna make a mistake.
Yeah, and I think McGregor being so buddy with him and like super chill with him
Yeah.
and all in these interviews and shit, I think Poirier's kind of letting his guard down a little bit. He's this is a nice guy. He's like, oh, I'm gonna give you some of my hot sauce. I'll trade you for your whiskey. And it's like, you guys are going to war in a couple days, man, and you don't want to.
Imagine.
You need to be in the right mindset because McGregor, everything he does in the press,
Games.
in the octagon, it's all mind games. This
Yeah.
is simply just another one for him. So
I-
he's building that trust. Poirier's gonna think, okay, whatever. McGregor's gonna go in there and beat the shit out of him, not even think twice
Funny,
about it.
because that dog in McGregor, it comes out from time to time when they ask the right question.
Yeah,
he's
you
Yeah,
like,
see
"Nah,
it.
you
oh,
like
Yeah,
him." And then
yeah.
you're like, oh yeah, that's the real McGregor.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna knock him out in the first 60 seconds.
Yeah.
But I would like to, have a long fight if it comes to that. Then he's like, PR.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's always looking at Dana. He kept looking at him like,
Did you see what he
did
said?
I say the right thing?
Did you see
Yeah,
what he
it's
said
so
in the
good.
interview? He's like, everyone wants to talk about how much money I have and how I'm richer than Dana White. That's what he says in the press.
Dana
Dana
laughed.
White, he just starts laughing. He's like, this fucking guy.
Dana
prob-
loves him. He always has.
Dude, he's not richer than Dana White.
no
No
fuck.
way.
No.
No way.
I think he made 400 million just off the sale of UFC. Plus, he has his own alcohol. He has all his own shit. Like,
Dude, Dana White is
brilliant.
way richer than Conor
Yeah.
McGregor. Conor McGregor had that one big bout.
Let's see.
It's guaranteed.
Yeah. It's
Well,
for
every time
sure.
I say it's guaranteed, I get proved wrong. So I'm going to retract that
True.
statement. But
Dana White.
there's just no way. Dana White's been making that that steady money for longer than McGregor was a fighter. You know what I mean? He was making killings off the UFC. Like McGregor boomed the UFC, but the UFC was at that pinnacle. They were on that fence where they were gonna like become amazing when McGregor hit, and it helped them get amazing. But they were still making steady money, and he
Yeah,
owned
they
percentage.
were
of
making
it.
a lot with like GSP. And
Yeah,
all
all
those
those
others.
fighters.
Yeah.
There was something funny that I wanted to mention. I forget his name. I don't know if it's Ryan Foster. There's a fighter that ended up getting
Ryan Garcia.
no. There's a guy who, just in the
The
UFC.
boxer,
recently-
Ryan Garcia.
Yeah.
There's just a fighter recently that had brain lesions, and like this whole thing came out about him, how like the UFC like fucked his life, like he can't like remember long term, small term memory, like
Well, you're fighting, bro.
like
Yeah,
but
the risk.
boxing, yeah, but boxing, like that's been said and told, and that story is overdone. This
Yeah,
is like
CTE
kinda-
and all that shit.
This is the kind of the first one from the UFC, so it's kind of hits hard. And the thing that this guy said is that Dana White didn't provide any kind of help for him at all afterwards,
Oh God.
which is crazy. I think that they have that incoming. You know what I mean? Like, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
I just think it's such an interesting topic. Is like, what are you supposed to do, dude? You knew the risks. Why would the UFC pay for anything? You knew the risks. I
Yeah.
literally said, I will pay you to get in here, and the reason I'm paying you this much is because I know this could have long term effect on you.
Yeah.
It's literally
like what
what
ho-
the deal is.
It's like when fighter hockey players complain that they had concussions. Your role was to fight. I'm sorry.
Dude, you're fighting on
Like-
ice. People fight on like a canvas, like barefoot, and fight with people in the octagon or boxing ring, whatever. These guys are fighting on skates on ice. Dude, if you fall, 90% of the time you're gonna fight, your helmet's off. And then you're falling on the fucking ice. Like
Yeah.
I would never be a fighter in the NHL. That's not a role I would ever take.
And you're getting punched with someone not wearing UFC gloves, boxing gloves,
Baref- yeah.
knuckles to your fucking
Knuckles.
face, then you're falling onto that ice.
Yeah, if
So-
I was like a rookie player, or if I was just a goal scorer, I would never fight. Like you see Crosby fight from time to time. You even seen Ovechkin fight from time to time. I would never fight if I was these guys.
No, fuck that.
Dude, one mistake, concussion, you know what I
You're
mean?
done. Yeah.
I just fucking ashed all over myself.
So you ready for the numbers here?
Give me the numbers.
So you think Dana White's obviously a lot richer?
Well, I think he's richer.
Yeah, everyone agree or no?
But so
I-
McGregor's richer?
No, I agree with that. Yeah,
I think
apparently.
so.
You think McGregor's richer, and you guys think
No.
Dana?
Dana.
I think
I
Dana.
think Dana.
All right, so McGregor's net worth, and apparently this is
Hun-
according to several
let me
sources,
guess.
This is 2020 net worth.
I would say 100 mil.
No, 300 mil.
That's actually a really good guess. 120 milli.
Ah,
Dana White,
450 million.
500 mil
Yeah, no kidding.
Damn.
with a reported salary of $20 million.
Yeah.
So
But-
imagine this guy, they sold the UFC. He got 10% of
Wow.
the 4 point something billion in his pocket, only if he remained as the president of the UFC and keeps a $20 million salary.
This
No
is why
one
the fighters don't get paid a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one's better than this guy.
UFC is the worst when it comes to paying their fighters. They are the fucking worst, bro. These guys are jumping in those rings. Most of the guys you see on Fight Night or whatever you want to call it when you're watching that pay-per-view, most of the guys that you'll see are fighting for 40 to 70,000.
Yeah.
There was a guy on Wednesday. He's like, "All right, I got to go back to the farm now." Like he's got a full time
so
job.
wild.
Job, yeah. It's sick. Like do you see Mike Perry? Mike Perry, you seen this guy? This is the guy that said that he was in all kinds of debt. After the fight, he's like, I gotta go pay some debts back home, and well, hopefully I get another fight. Like, well, these guys are in debt, like $20,000-$30,000 of debt, and they're just hoping.
What are you doing to get
signs
yourself
them.
in $30,000 a day? You know how much money you make.
Well, you don't. He hasn't
Yeah.
fought in 2 years. Look,
Yeah,
yeah, but you want to talk about debt or whatever? Obviously,
that's different. Yeah.
Look,
yeah, yeah.
obviously, if you're in debt, you're in
If
debt.
you don't get a fight in 2 years, but you're ready to fight, it's not because the UFC doesn't want. It's because you're not gonna do anything worth paying for.
Yeah, but they're
White's
but
the
they're
smartest guy in the business. He's gonna pay you if you deserve it, and he does.
Yeah.
Like
no, he's like,
he's gonna sign you to fight. Let's say maybe not pay you what you think you're
look,
worth.
the margins
but
that
if
they're
you're not
making,
fighting for 2 years.
the
it's
margins
probably
that
'cause
they're
you're not
making
making
only.
money.
Only the top pay, so the main card, only the main card is making pay-per-view percentages.
Yeah.
So everybody else is on salary basically, and they're
You're
basically
way up
not-
there,
so,
bro.
So they're paying everybody's salary, and just off advertisement alone, they're probably paying their whole card, except for the top bouts. So they're paying their whole card on probably advertising alone,
Yep.
dude. They're the one of the
Easily,
most profit. Yeah, it's not right. It's not right at all. The
Yeah,
the
but
fighters
the
should
only
be getting
thing is,
way
like,
more.
Yeah. Without getting all into that shit, I know we've covered it before a bit, but like,
True.
it's like signing a contract for a business, and you're working and you do their financials for them. That's what you get paid $75,000 a year to do. Then you're doing their financials. You're like, holy fuck, they profited $500 million. I know how much money they have. I should be getting paid more. It's like, you knew what you're getting yourself into. They gave you a contract. You were happy with it. You accepted it. And now you're the one who wants to go back on your contract,
But-
which is the whole point.
but
And I'm
it's
not
not
saying
right.
everyone's paid what they should be getting paid, but at the same time, you don't have to do that job. You don't have to take it. You can go find something else. If all you have is fighting and they're the only people that want to pay you, you put yourself in a bad position to only rely on that one company.
But
to
it's
ever
also
be able
like-
to employ you.
It's also, you can refer to Bobby Orr. Bobby Orr back in the day, he was scrutinized by all the players on the ice because he was the best player in the league and he didn't care about money and he was getting the X salary that he was. So when people were in contract talks with their GMs, they were telling them, Bobby Orr only makes this much. Why would I pay you that much? So it becomes a responsibility to every fighter to up that bar. Because if someone offers me 75,000, Dana White says 75,000 to fight this guy, and I say that's not enough. He turns around and there's 6 fighters that are willing to fight for $75,000. That's where the root of the problem is, not the management. It's more the root of the problem is the fighters willing to just get their shot. They just want to get their shot, so they'll literally take any money because they don't care how much money they make off their first fight, their second fight, their third fight, or maybe even their fourth fight. They just want to
That's
make a
it.
name
So
for
it's hard
themselves.
to make exactly. So you're like, I'll take anything, and then they're like, okay, this is your anything. You're like, fuck, I don't want anything anymore. It's like, okay, but you signed for anything for this amount of time. Let's talk after your anything is over.
Well,
so
yeah,
it's just
of
a whole other
course.
mess, and that's
Of
a whole
course,
other
but
fucking thing.
Dana White will drop you like
So
this.
wild. Yeah,
He'll
he
drop
doesn't
you-
care. Fuck, look at
No,
him.
that- yeah, 'cause
500
We'll
million.
find another fight.
He's the UFC. He's the biggest platform ever for
Absolutely,
mixed martial
man.
arts fights.
He runs the show from top to bottom too,
But
which
look,
is incredible.
But look around, Nate Diaz. Why do you think Nate Diaz is not fighting? Because
Yeah, he's not.
because
not
Dana White doesn't
satisfied.
want to pay him what he wants to get paid.
Yeah.
That's
And like everyone has that right too, right? To not be like, I'm not accepting your offer. So it's out there. I mean, with anything, but
yeah. It's just it's
McGregor's
just,
gonna be earning his money this Saturday for sure.
yeah. Well, McGregor
But-
McGregor is a suck up, dude. Him and Dana White, they're buddy.
Yeah, man.
He
Hey,
also
good for
sells
him.
pay per view, obviously.
Yeah.
but-
So the highest
Biggest
paid
draw.
fucking
Look,
yeah, exactly.
he sells the books, obviously. He sells the pay per views, obviously. So
He's probably the best thing that's happened to the UFC since like GSP, let's say, in my opinion.
Probably.
Like
I
for
would
what
probably
he's
agree.
brought to the sport and the UFC as a whole, like he's probably the best thing since GSP. And I would argue that he's done, maybe not more. I don't know. I'd be on par, but
I think GSP took it to one level and he just brought it to a whole other one. Like
yeah,
it's everybody knows who Conor McGregor is.
yeah.
You know, even like crossed over to boxing, so you got that whole platform, that whole side.
He's
Yeah.
a
Everybody knows
businessman.
about.
Hey, he's
fucking
a businessman
brilliant.
fighter, and that's why
Brilliant.
that's why the business loves him, because
Yeah.
he's worried about making sales, hyping up fights. He's a promoter for the UFC while he's
He does
out
it
there.
all,
so
man. He
Obviously,
does it
they
all.
love him.
Rightfully
There was
so.
something Conor said in the press conference today. I don't know if you guys saw Dana's reaction when a reporter asked about Khabib coming back, and he's like, only if he's wowed. And then Conor was like, he never said that. Dana said that.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
interesting
Oh,
because I'm like,
fuck.
for sure Dana's just playing that up.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah,
time
of
Khabib
course.
talks, he's saying, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Khabib
So-
messaged GSP like in that whole thing that even in he offered him a GSP fight. Dana White offered Conor McGregor, Khabib a GSP fight, and he turned it down.
Yeah.
It was just crazy. And then Khabib messaged GSP and told him like, hey, like I know you want the fight, but it's not gonna happen. So it's
I think
like,
that's the fight of all fights.
yeah, but why?
Because they're like, he's the greatest ever at what he does since GSP, and
I don't
GSP's
believe-
like, yo, I'm fucking here. But
But
like,
I don't
feel
like-
like he's maybe he's just way too far down the road that it's like
I just
he'll
don't
dominate,
like. I don't like the GOAT discussion happening when fighters are 10 years apart, like the Michael Jordan, LeBron James
Yeah,
argument.
it's
I don't want to hear it because
different
LeBron
eras.
James is in a completely different era, and Michael
Mhm.
Jordan's like, there's no comparison. So to see Khabib fight JSP today, what does that do for me?
What
I'd
happens if
rather see a
GSP wins,
simulator.
though?
I'd rather see a simulator of both of them in their prime, computer generated, and fight each other. You know what I mean? Like, because that'll have more justice on the fight than a 45-year-old fucking JSP fighting a 31-year-old
that's
Khabib.
well, that's if Khabib
Like-
comes in and wins. You're like, yeah, whatever, this fight should never happen. What if GSP comes in and fucking beats Khabib? Like that.
But I don't even want to hear GSP talk about the UFC because every
Like,
single time he
crazy.
talks about the UFC, he says that he didn't even like fighting in it.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
That's a
bro,
whole other
get this
story.
guy out of here. I don't want to see this guy. Like, he was great when he was great, but now, it's done now.
Ah, fuck.
He has hair now. I got to call him about that.
Yeah, he has hair
Figure that
now.
one out.
Yeah, what'd you do
guys
there?
see his Instagram?
No,
Yeah.
I didn't
Like-
see it.
Yeah, he has hair now. It's crazy.
Getting those
Rogaine, man.
plugs. That's it.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
fuck. Well, speaking of plugs, t-shirt giveaway. Plug it right now.
All right, Twitch. On Twitch, we're streaming every single Wednesday, 8 p.m. We're calling it Wild Wednesdays. I don't know who
that's what we're
came up
calling
with it. I don't know who came
All
up
right.
with that, but that's what
Brad,
we're calling it.
Brad
I
did.
think he just
Just now.
did because
Yeah.
his co-host don't even know that.
Nah, that was one of YouTube. So
oh, fuck, I love it.
Wild Wednesdays on Twitch, 8 p.m. Me, Kyle, and Punk. At least two of us will be live, whatever days, depending on schedule. We're gonna be talking any subjects. Get involved. Honestly, the reaction that we got from all our Twitch followers has been absolutely amazing. Like we
Low
love it so
Phil.
much,
Conspiracy Epi was massive.
and so right now we're running a contest. We're running sort of like a contest giveaway. The first 60 followers will be entered into a draw to win a free merch, free t-shirt. And then also every single $100 that is donated during that time, we have a donation button on Twitch. We'll add another t-shirt into the giveaway, add another winner.
T-shirt of your choice, to be
Yeah,
precise.
it's a tee of your choice. If you want, we can even customize it. We can put your name on the back. We can customize the shirt. Doesn't matter for us. Whatever you guys want, we'll send it your way. When we choose the winner, we're hoping to get everybody in, and we're hoping to get to 60 Twitch followers by the 1st of February. So
That's the
tune
goal.
in, subscribe, share it on your socials, help us out. Really looking. I just saw right now one of my boys, Joe, just shared it. Good for you. Thanks a lot.
Let's
We
go.
appreciate it a lot. And just check us out on all our socials, like always. Catch us on OTL Pod on every major platform except for Twitter. You can catch it on podcast_OTL. We even introduced on Twitch. If you scroll down, you can see our live Twitter feed. So during the podcast, we'll be making bets, all that kind of good stuff. So just give us a follow, and thanks for listening, and have yourselves a wonderful week. Victor, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate
Thanks,
it.
buddy.
Hopefully, we'll see you
Thanks
back
for
for
having
some
me.
more some more NBA segments. We need you. You heard what Kyle thinks about the NBA. You know,
Yeah.
he's lacking. So
Lacking,
we
bro.
need you over here.
Yeah, you know,
Anytime, man. Let me know.
whenever the NBA's, whenever we need NBA talk, we're inviting you. I mean, my knowledge is somewhat there, but not as good as yours. So
You guys
appreciate
were all
it.
right. You guys are good.
Yeah, but literally,
Made
I didn't speak the whole time.
I
didn't
know,
talk
it was
whole
the best
time.
part.
Yeah.
That's why people love the
We're
podcast.
switching to a basketball podcast right now.
All right, boys.
All right,
Have
ciao,
Have a good one,
guys.
boys.
Thanks.
Ciao,
Yeah.
boys.
Everybody.